All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the long off fifth session of Star Trek Groundskeepers. Now, it has been a while, so just as a reminder, this is a unique game of Star Trek Adventures in that all of the players are Undine, or as you might know them, Species 8472. We are all part of the faction that you saw in the fourth episode of the fifth season of Voyager. And sort of how the events have transpired. They used to be on a 2-year mission just into the Delta Quadrant, but now the Groundskeepers faction has sort of expanded, and they're just sort of going around like Starfleet are, so good things there. What this means, though, is that the timeline, if you are in quote unquote ELH canon, that means that Groundskeepers is happening at the same time as Fenrir, Mata Hari, and October. And speaking of October, these lovely gentlemen had a cameo a few weeks ago. So if you want to catch up on those, though you don't really need to, you can find the VODs for everything on YouTube and most of the popular podcast solutions. The only really announcement I have this week is that we are still doing Extra Life on the channel. That goes through to November 7th, and if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can check out the links below the stream. But with that said, let's have my two players introduce themselves, starting with John.
Hi, my name is John. I had to make sure I wasn't on mute. I play Tabarus, the little bit more carefree Undine of the group, and I am Chubby Kobold Gaming, and I'm looking forward to getting back into this.
I'm Brian. I play Rez, the clearly becoming more neurotic half of our co-captaining group. And I'm also very much looking forward to getting into this.
Very nice. And if you don't know me, I'm ELH, the game master for this lovely crew. And with that said, let's go ahead and run the introduction. Alright, and welcome back. So something I like doing with all my Star Trek games especially is having the players do an opening monologue. And that means today we have one from Tabarus himself. So John, take it away.
Tabarus log, because I don't want to call it anything else. Stardate 90824.6. Things are going fairly well. The Troust is currently investigating a strange repeating signal coming out from an area of space that was near a former supernova. So that might be interesting. Might just be a pulsar, but we're going to check it out all the same. In other news, Boothby has relayed that the Hershey are doing pretty well. So, maybe me and Rez are doing something right. Deep Space October is going to be done in a few months. That would be nice to go over there and just hang out for a little while. There's a lot of Undine over there, so it could be good, and maybe we'll get some R&R. So look forward to meeting a lot more humans. Well, we'll see. Tabarus out.
All right. So our first scene, of course, is going to be in the interior of the Troust. Both of you are at your stations, and Troust herself, or at least the avatar for Troust, is doing something a little bit strange. Now, when I say strange, you have to remember this is in the context of the Undine. So, Troust, the entity, which is your ship, is actually whistling. And it's not like an annoying thing. It's just every once in a while she'll like go into like a almost like a Hills Are Alive with Music type whistling thing. And I think that's where we'll start our first scene today.
You sound happy, Troust.
And she actually sort of twirls on the spot. I forget what is the actress's name in that play. I forget.
Julie Andrews?
Yes, her. She sort of twirls on the spot and says, "Well, I must admit, I've been digging into the human culture, and I'm very fascinated by this opera and this whistling and this whole musical genre. Like we don't have anything like it."
Hmm. Yeah, I like Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
And I think Troust actually launches into a good rendition of it. Of course, I'm not going to try it because I'll butcher it. But it's actually very nice. Like, I don't know if you ever heard Lady Gaga do it, but Lady Gaga does an amazing set of it. But it's quite good, like almost pitch perfect, with a lot of emotion behind it. And it's right about then that Rez, as you're listening to this, you notice that there is something going on with the Troust itself, specifically that the engine room, and it's nothing major, the engine room is peaking at 102% efficiency. And it's only while she's singing. While she's singing, it's 102. When it goes back to normal, stays at 100.
Well, maybe we should get you like some sort of music player, because it seems to improve your efficiency, Trust.
And she kind
Well,
of looks over at
in the
you.
20th century, humans used this little music device called a Zoom.
A,
That's
a Zoom? What? A Zune? A Zoom? What is it? What does this do?
I think it. I have to look it up. I'll see if I can replicate one.
Yes, I would be very much interested in this.
I don't understand why can't we just play music through the ship?
Oh, because well, it allows you to listen to music without other people hearing what you're listening to. But you have a really good point. We should just put music on the ship.
Yeah.
Do you think you can program some music?
I mean, I'm sure I can figure out some way that we could. I mean, there must be. We still have that human database, don't we?
Oh yeah, yeah. He Tabris reaches into his lunchbox and pulls out a memory device of some sort and tosses it over to Rez.
And I'd like
Oh,
to imagine it's probably like an old like USB, like it's
Yeah,
just a
probably.
jump drive that you toss over.
right. I'll figure this out, and I'll get back to you.
And it's right about then
Awesome.
that it's right about then that Troust actually stops singing, and she says, "Oh, um, well, we're here, and it's not a pulsar. Here, let me put it on the main viewer." And appearing on the main viewer is the following. And let me make sure the stream can see everything, and then I'll describe what you're seeing. All right. So what you see before you is a very large ship, where the back of the ship is almost like a Star Destroyer from Star Wars, where it's sort of trapezoidal and comes to a point. But emanating out from the triangular sides is a massive ring, two rings, in fact. One that is about the size of maybe about a sizable space station in circumference, so it goes far out ahead of the main drive section. But then on the interior, there's a much smaller ring that is a little bit more bulkier. So there's a space between the inner and the outer ring. But what you're really paying attention to is the fact that across the surface of this ship or this station, whatever it is, there are what are, for lack of a better term, giant crabs. And these crabs, standard, outlook for a crab where you have, I think it's 6 legs or 8 legs, the 2 claws, sort of that antenna-like eye, and they're all sort of dark in color. Their main bodies are almost like jet black, but their claws and their eyes are bright bioluminescent white, and they're just sort of crawling over the station, not really paying you any mind.
Trust, is this the origin of that repeating signal we're investigating?
Yeah. You think it's a distress call?
I mean, I wonder. Let's ping him. Let's send him a hail.
All right. And to get you guys some momentum, we're actually going to make this a task. Let me just make sure I remind myself which that is. Let's see. Go ahead and do me a control and engineering. And then, John, if you could do the trials communication and engineering. This is just a difficulty of 0. All right, so that's already 1 success. And 1 success from the trial. So you guys start off with 2 momentum. Very nice. So yeah, you send out a sort of a hail, and you do get a reply back, audio only for the moment, but a voice, mechanical in nature. Can't really tell if it's male or female. It's kind of androgynous, but the voice says, "Hello. This is the IKV. Uh, sorry. I don't have records of what this ship used to be called. But maybe you can help me. My crew has been lost." And it's very obvious that as the voice continues, that to put it in what might be a polarizing sort of comparison, if any of you have ever encountered someone with dementia or someone where their memory isn't that great, you kind of get that feel from the person where they don't necessarily know their own mind.
Huh. Well, we see a bunch of beings, sort of, if you'll pardon the word, scuttling around the outside of your ship. Is this your crew, or are these aggressors? Should we be concerned on your behalf?
I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure, but I do know that they're not supposed to be out there on the hull. I do know they're supposed to be in their rooms, cages. I'm not sure.
Huh. Terrace, take a look at those sections on the interior ring. Would you say those look like they might be some sort of holding cells? You're more security oriented than I am.
Well, there are 7 of them, and there are 7 of those sections.
So maybe the what are they? Sorry, the crabs. Is that what we're gonna roll with? Maybe the crabs should be in the.
I prefer we call them Sebastians.
Sure, Sebastians. That sounds about right.
Okay. Let Tabris is going to spend a little bit of time, like, looking at one of their behaviors and seeing whether or not they're just like, "Yay, I'm free! Let's walk around this ship," or are they like
Actively attacking it? Yeah. Go ahead and roll me an insight and a security, and I'm gonna make this a difficulty of 2.
And yeah, of course I'll spend a momentum.
All right.
Because I'm Tavris. And let's see. Constantly watching. When you attempt to detect danger or hidden enemies, reduce the difficulty by 1.
I would give you that would apply. So yeah, your difficulty would be only a 1 here.
All right. Oh!
And somehow you still do not get any successes. So I think what happens is...
And you get a threat.
And I get a threat. Nice. So what happens is you sort of look intently at some of the crab creature, or the Sebastians. Sorry, that's the name for them, the Sebastians. Where you're sort of looking at them, and you see that they're sort of like, they're not like ripping off parts of the hull, but they're definitely like picking at it and pulling up panels, but not like ripping them off. Now, what that means, you're not sure. You just see that they are, quote unquote, messing with the hull of this facility.
Yeah, I can't tell, Rez, but maybe they're foraging for food.
What did you think of the person on the line? Like, did they sound normal? Should we
not quite all there, but maybe we should pay them a visit.
Yeah, let's uh Trust reopen the channel.
Sure. Channel open.
IKV, you're not sure. We're gonna transport over because it sounds like you may be suffering some sort of confusion, and we're concerned on your behalf. How does that sound?
Transport over. What? Oh, you wish to meet me in person?
Yeah, it sounds like you might be in some distress, and so
No, I'm not in any distress. There's something important I should be doing. Something very, very important.
yeah, and that lack of recollection concerns us. So we're just gonna come over. I mean, if you don't want us to, let me know. But otherwise, we'll have our ship transport us over.
I think. Hold on.
It's okay. You already agreed to it just a few minutes ago.
This. I see what you're doing there, John. The voice, kind of goes wishy-washy, where they say something that doesn't quite come across the comms, but eventually they say, "Right, transport. Could I come to you?"
Sure. Although it seems like if you and your ship are in distress, you'd want us to come over there rather than you coming over here. But yeah, we can bring you over here.
There's I think it's important that I come to you rather than the other way around.
All right, yeah. That's not at all concerning on my end. Tabris, get a weapon.
Oh yeah, already got it.
So, yeah, no, anytime. We'll lower our shields, won't we, Troust?
And Troust just sort of looks at you and says, "I never raised them."
Even better.
All right. So, do you guys want to actually roll for the transport task to maybe get momentum, or shall I just have the individual beam over?
Oh, I think Rez is ready for a double complication roll.
You know what? Now that you've said it, we're going to do it. So,
just gearing up.
This is going to be a control engineering, and the ship will assist you with sensors engineering. The difficulty total on this is going to be a 2.
Transporter replicators is a focus?
Most definitely.
And what was the ship assisting with? Sorry.
The ship is assisting with a sensors and engineering.
I'm gonna because I want us to get more momentum. I'm gonna spend that momentum that we do have.
Sounds logical.
Get a third dice. We got to spend momentum to make momentum, right?
Yeah. Got one from the ship.
Yeah, one from the ship. So all we need is all right. So you get that momentum right back. Very nice. So we sort of go back to the interior of the Troust, and materializing in the transporter room is somewhere between a android and somewhere between almost like a full-on robot. And what I mean by that is they're not really humanoid shaped, at least not in the way you would normally expect. Of course, they still have a head, 2 arms, and a torso, but instead of legs, they sort of hover off the ground, being propelled by some sort of anti-gravity unit. They have like mechanical pauldrons that are projecting, or at least appear to be attempting to project, a series of holographic glyphs and other sorts of displays. The torso itself is definitely mechanical in nature, in that it either looks like this is a purely mechanical being or that they are wearing a very advanced suit of armor. It's very form-fitting, very angular, made out of almost like pearlescent white. And then the head is either helmeted or, again, artificial in nature. Of note of the head, it kind of has almost like a rim that comes across the front. If you'll imagine almost like a V formation that comes off where a visor would be. And they sort of look around as they materialize. And I'm curious, would you both be there to meet them? Would you still be in the main bridge?
Oh, no, I'm definitely going to be there to meet them.
Okay.
So, I don't know whether or not Rez is coming.
Well, I just did the transport. Also, I want to look at what the transport data says, because theoretically I should now know whether they're whether they're all mechanical, part mechanical. Is this a guy in a suit? Is it just a heart is it a cyborg? What's going on?
All right. I tell you what, if you give me the 1 momentum, I will answer that question.
Ugh. That was hard won.
All right, so it's actually interesting, Rez. What you're seeing is a fusion. Like, it does have a heart, it does have a brain, but at the same time, that brain and that heart are semi-artificial in nature. To make a comparison, you know how in one of the Mass Effect 3 endings, like, there's the green wave, quote unquote, and
right.
suddenly everything is both artificial and organic at the same time? That's what you're seeing here, where it's a fusion unlike you've ever seen before. And that's saying something because the Undine are masters of biology, and even this is new to you.
This is so cool. Yeah, in which case I'm also there in the door, like, whoa, I gotta see this thing.
But yeah, the individual kind of looks around as they're finished materializing and says, "This is nice. Hello. My
Welcome
name,
to our ship. I'm Tabris. This is Rez.
Tabris Rez. Hi, I am Tim."
Well, Tim,
Oh,
welcome to the Troust.
it's great to meet you, Tim.
Yes, it's good to meet you too.
Listen, Tim, I don't want to pry, but you seem to be a little tentative. Do you mind if I do like a quick engineering scan? I just want to see if there's something wrong that we could at least tell you about, or maybe offer to help with.
Rez, he's just being timid.
No, I think there might be something wrong. You could go ahead and do your scan. That's okay.
Excellent. I use my whatever the Undine equivalent of a tricorder is.
Right. So go ahead, and what I would actually say is, Tabris, you can assist on this. So Rez, you're gonna do a reason engineering. Tabris, you're gonna do a reason medicine. The total difficulty on this is actually going to be a 4. So take that into consideration when you're spending threat/momentum.
You'd have to spend threat at this point, Rez.
Yeah. But I do want that extra dice. Especially because I don't think I have anything that'll give me a focus.
Yeah, I don't think I have a focus either.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at your focuses. Maybe I can throw you a bone here.
I do on the other hand have computer expertise, and computer expertise gives me a bonus dice when rolling to examine alien computer, or how does it
Yeah,
break
let me
down
actually
then?
look up that talent because I figure that might come into play here. So let's see.
Whenever you attempt a task that involves the programming or study of a computer system, you may add a bonus d20 to your pool.
Yeah, I would say that applies here.
Yes.
I got you one.
Awesome. And I have no focus, however.
All right.
I got 2 more.
Oh, so close.
So I'll offer you an opportunity. You can succeed at cost, but there's going to be a complication.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're used to complications.
That is our bread and butter, I think.
Give it to us.
All right. So what happens, Rez, is when you scan Tim, quote unquote, you realize something very important very quickly. Attached to the brain is almost like an inhibitor, like a neural inhibitor that is actively suppressing the electrical signals passing between the 4 lobes of the brain. And just as a reminder, humans only have 2. I don't think we know how many Undine have, but just take that as you will. But this inhibitor is active, and it is maybe insidious would be the right word to use here. But it's one of those things where you definitely see the inhibitor. However, the complication is when you run the scan, Tim immediately shifts in color and in demeanor. The bluish holograms coming from its pauldrons immediately shift to red, and Tim itself moves into like a defensive posture, like he's trying to resist an attack of some sort. And a different voice, a more confident voice, comes from Tim and says, The hell are you doing? I never gave you permission for that.
Tim, I literally just asked you, and you did, in fact, give me permission. But I mean, if you're, hey, it's just a scanning. It's just a scan here. I can dump the data immediately. Troust, if you would be so kind.
And just so I know, as the game master, are you actually dumping the data, or is Troust going to actually just sort of make it look like you've dumped the data?
I mean, I would hope that I'm going to telepathically tell Troust to keep it, but move it off the screen so it looks like it's been dumped.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Tell you what, why don't we have the Troust do a roll here? Troust is going to roll a computers and a science here.
With 2 dice?
Yeah, you're going to have to roll it twice, though, because I think the sheet only does 1 for ship sheets. And the difficulty is only a 1, so you've already succeeded.
I almost want to just stop so we don't get this complication.
I mean, Okay, so you get the 1. And yeah, sure enough, Rez, you show off the fact that the data's been dumped, and Tim, still in that sort of red-hued defensive posture, says, Fine, then by order of the... And there's a pause, and you see for a moment his pauldrons flicker back to that blue, but then they go back to being red. You are going to help me get the prisoners back in their cages.
I mean, sure, we're happy to help, but it seems like I mean, listen, I know I said I dumped the data, but I did look at it. It looks like you've got some sort of inhibitor mounted on the back of your and it seems you also seem to have some sort of split personality thing going on. Are you sure that's what you want to do? Should we not see if we can't help you out first?
Trying to think about how to do this in a task that would be fair. How would you feel about a presence and engineering?
I mean, that seems pretty reasonable.
Okay. What I'm going to say, though, is I am going to spend some threat here. I will spend 3 threat to make it a difficulty of 4.
Woof. I mean, there's no way on 2 dice. I mean, there's almost no way on 2 dice I'm getting 4 successes here.
Well, it might be a determination spending moment.
It might be a determination spending moment.
But I would say you would have, looking at your focuses here, I could see an argument for infiltration. Like, it's a stretch, but I could see an argument for it. I could also see maybe a survival as a stretch.
I was like, infiltrate, yeah, one of the espionage, infiltration, or survival I thought might be. All right, I am going to go, what I don't know I can always learn. I'll spend my determination as a off-the-bat success.
Okay.
And then, yeah, let's see if I can, with the 2 dice, get 2 more successes.
Yes. You do indeed. Very nice. And as you say this, Rez, as the words quote unquote wash over Tim, the demeanor changes again. He goes back to sort of just casually floating there. The pauldrons and the coloring across his shell go back to being blue. And he says, "Oh, sorry, what were we talking about again?"
Well, you see, you seem to have some sort of device, some sort of inhibitor, I would say. Although I'd rather I'd like my medically oriented colleague here to take a look, but I think there's something sort of preventing you from operating at your full efficiency. Like someone's trying to sort of keep you from fulfilling your duties, which I assume is how you've ended up in the state you're in, with your ship having. I think your alternate self referred to them as prisoners crawling all over your hull.
Alternate self? I'm sorry, I don't really know what you mean.
Oh, just a moment ago, you flashed to a different color palette and threatened us real quick. But it's fine.
And actually, as you say that, I'm going to roll a challenge dice here because there is something that can happen. Okay, so they stay blue, and they say,
It explodes.
Yeah, no explosions. But good idea. Maybe I'll just save that for later. But no, what happens is Tim just sort of looks at Tabris now and says, "Right, you're the medical one, I think."
Oh yeah, that's me. Even though I think this is probably going to be more of an engineering type thing because, well, you're not like a person, but I'm going to try anyway and see what I can see.
Well, but a neural inhibitor, Tabris, that's a
Well, yeah,
the medical equipment type deal.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a look at it. Can you turn around for me so I can get a good look?
Sure. And he literally just sort of rotates on the spot. And looking at your seat, Tabris, I'm trying to see, do you have a higher insight or a higher reason?
Reason.
Definitely reason. Yeah, insight is your dump stat. So let's see. I will give you a reason medicine here.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that parasitology, or however the hell you actually say it, would apply here in a way.
Okay.
This will be at a difficulty of 3, though.
What about quick study?
Oh, this is a good point. If you have quick study, then that becomes a difficulty of 2.
All right, and I'll give you a threat to get an extra die.
Okay.
Because I'm Tabris, and I always have to roll at least 3 dice.
As is tradition.
Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah.
4 successes, which means you get 2 momentum. So, Tabris, you're looking at this neural inhibitor, and it's not like an exposed neural inhibitor, like you're still having to run like scans or having the Trouse like display a hologram of it. But what you're seeing is, I'm trying to find the right words for it out of character. If you will imagine, let me put it this way, now that I think about it. You know how in humans we have the 2 lobes of the brain. We have the left side of the brain and the right side. And I think it's the left side that's the creative, and the right side is like logical and spatial. Or maybe it's the other way around. What you're seeing here is that the neural inhibitor is actually sort of suppressing not the communication between lobes like you initially thought, but what it's actually doing is acting as a regulator, meaning it is keeping the brain from overloading on itself. But as you can see, and as you've observed, it seems to be having an unintended side effect where, say, the right forward section of the brain is not adequately talking to the right back section of the brain in Tim.
Does it look like it is malfunctioning?
I'll give it to you free. You're not 100% sure. Your guess, like an educated guess, is that you don't know why this device is stopping the communication between the 2 halves that I indicated, but you're pretty sure it's supposed to allow communication between all sections of the brain.
All right. Looking at it from a medical aspect of the fact that it's kind of like a regulated lobotomy to a certain degree.
I mean, that's what I would have described it as had I thought of the words. Yes.
He's going to see whether or not he can first predict what it might do if it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, see if there is a way to determine how it is supposed to actually function, and see if he can, with Rez's assistance from the engineering standpoint, possibly repair it.
I think this definitely would be an insight medicine here. I also think it would be a really high difficulty because even with quick study, I think we're still looking at like a difficulty of 4 on this one.
Okay. So he's going to, so Rez, what we've got here is we've got a device that is supposed to regulate the communication between the different quadrants of the brain. And he goes into like this really quick and very fast spoken, detailed about what it's supposed to do. Well, and then you see what we've got to do is we've tried to get it to regulate correctly. And I think what I need is a little bit of assistance from you because it is mostly mechanical, and I can try to do quite a bit of it, myself, but I might need a little bit of your help. Tim, would you like to come back to our med bay so I can get a potential bonus to my roll?
Yeah, Tim just sort of says, "Medbay, right? Yeah, I'd be happy to follow you."
Oh, yeah.
Terrence, if I'm understanding you correctly, this would be like a communication hub in a positronic brain,
Exactly.
which is essentially not relaying the messages as quickly or as efficiently as it could.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And what I think we can do is we can potentially increase the gain in one of the areas of the actual probe itself. I like to normally say, hey, it isn't brain surgery, but in this case, it actually is.
So we're really just modulating the balanced harmonic coupling on a positronic neural net, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That sounds easy.
All right. So yeah, if you can lay down here, Tim, this will be as painless as I could possibly make it. Actually, I'm actually pretty good at this, and I'll take care of you.
Okay. And Tim, of course, does as you ask. It's still in that sort of hesitant, not sure sort of demeanor. And yeah, what I'm going to say here is that this is still going to be rather difficult here. Let me double check the Trouse talent, because I think you do have the advanced sickbay, don't you?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay. What I'm going to say then is it's still going to be a difficulty of 4 after accounting for you being in a sick bay.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is, I'm not seeing any talents on the ship that would help you. I'll spend some threat that, in addition to it being a difficulty of 4, that the complication range will also be a 17 to 20 on this one.
Oh boy.
So Tabris, you're going to do a control and a medicine. Rez, you're going to be doing a control and an engineering.
And computers as a focus?
I can give you computers as a focus, yes.
Awesome.
All right, so control medicine. I am going to spend my determination.
Okay.
Because I just want to see what's out there, and this is a very unique thing to be taking a look at.
Mm-hmm.
I will spend our 2 momentum for an extra die.
Okay.
And I think that's all I can do. And I've already got 1 success for my good buddy Rez.
That's right.
So I'll I won't even say that all I need is 1.
Incoming complication rolls.
And I don't believe I actually have a focus on this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at your focus. I don't think you do.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. All right, and I've already adjusted the complication range on my sheet, so it'll actually reflect.
Okay.
Or supposedly it'll reflect. Oh, yeah!
All right, so that is a total of 5 successes. And I believe that means 1 momentum. And what happens is, Tabris and Rez working together, you are able to open up the back of the helmet or the head. And much like a positronic brain, or much like we see with Data, where they sort of pop open his back and you see sort of the circuitry underneath, you begin poking around and working on this inhibitor. And after a moment, or not really a moment, but after a little bit of working, I'm going to have a choice for you there, Tabris. Do you want to turn off the inhibitor, or do you want to fix the inhibitor?
I want to fix it.
Okay. Then...
Because, actually, does it look like an add-on? Or does it look like OEM?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I would say it's definitely an add-on. This is not something that seems quote-unquote natural to Tim.
What do you think, Rez? Should we just take it out or fix it?
I'm a little concerned about just pulling it entirely, but we could just what if we install a remote and just we reduced the gain to 0, and then we can increase it as necessary.
Oh, that's a good question. I like that idea. Is there a way that we can install a basically an ability to turn it on and off?
I would say yes, but you're going to have to give me your momentum and a threat to do so.
Done.
All right.
Done.
So, with this quote unquote remote control installed, my question then becomes
It's going to start off.
start off. Okay.
Mm.
So, once you finish up and you close the back hatch of the helmet, Tim starts back up and sort of doesn't hop, but moves off of the table. And immediately they transition not to red, but they transition to almost like a purple.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice is decidedly feminine this time. And Tim, or whoever they are, sort of looks around at everything and says, "Well, this is interesting. Hello, I'm not sure I've met you before. I am known as the Diln, or
Well, hi.
Vildin, perhaps."
I'm Rez. This is Tabris.
Mm-hmm.
We just made some modifications to your to your uh, to your operations, I guess. Sort of at Tim's request. It seems like you have a bunch of names, but Vilden, we're very pleased to meet you.
So it
Tim.
appears that you had some sort of regulator installed in your well in your processing unit, and Tabaris will like toss up the screen so that Vil can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was interrupting trying to regulate the communication between the quadrants of your brain. And well, it looks like it was added after the fact. So I didn't want to completely remove it because I didn't know what kind of effects that would have on you. So what we did is we turned it off.
But we did install a way for you to control it so that if, for example, you find that you're suffering like power overloads or anything like that, you'll be able to reactivate it and modulate its capacity.
In old Earth culture, this kind of operation or procedure used to be done if somebody was having seizures. This kind of nullifier or controller would have helped prevent those types of seizures. So we didn't want to just remove it just in case it did have a true medical purpose.
Mm-hmm. So Vildin sort of looks at what you've displayed for them, and they almost, obviously you can't really read expressions on their face because they don't really have a face to look at. But almost immediately there's almost like a high-pitched whine that begins coming from them, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this is some form of distress or some form of maybe dismay here. And they almost put a hand to their head and says, "You have to turn it back on. You have to turn it back on right away."
All right. He slides it up.
Okay. And as you slide it up, the purples shift away back to the blue, and you return to quote unquote Tim. And Tim just sort of looks around. Of course, the high pitched whine dies out, and he says, "Oh, did you already do the procedure?"
Yes, Tim.
Oh, okay. Can you help me with my guests on my ship?
Of course we can.
Yeah. Tim, what we've done, because we already explained it once, is we've given you sort of a on-off switch. You'll have the ability to turn the regulator off if you like. What I would say is, if you get into these situations again after we help you this time, maybe just turn it off, and then you'll have the ability to process faster. And then it's sort of like an emergency. What do I want? An emergency boost to your systems.
Oh, I don't really know what you mean, but it sounds good, so I'll take your word for it.
The wine or the the sound of distress.
Mm-hmm.
Tabris is Tabris looks at Rez and says, "I think I have an idea for later."
Oh, okay. Tim, would you like to stay here while we try and we've got some grapples that we can use to try and I assume that those crab things are supposed to be inside those cells on the inside ring. Does that sound about right?
Yes. They're supposed to be in their enclosures. Yes.
Sebastian's.
I should be on my ship to coordinate that.
Okay. Well, we can transport you back.
Yes. Let's do that.
Are you sure you don't want one of us to go with you? Maybe we'll come. We'll send one of us over, and then we'll be able to relay back and forth. Although I know you did express a preference for us for you to come here rather than the other way around.
And there's a moment's hesitation. I don't think you can come and visit me. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but I just know that only I'm supposed to be over there.
Okay, fair enough.
And yeah, what I would say at this point is, of course,
So
go ahead.
So Tabris turns off the slider.
Okay. So
it says, "So, Vil, why shouldn't we be going to your ship?"
Okay. So let me put it back to Vildin. So when Vildin, the purple-hued version of them, comes back, almost immediately that high-pitched whine returns and says, "You don't understand. I can't live with the voices. You have to turn it back on. Just please, for the love of anything you find sacred, turn that thing back on." And there's almost like a note of like genuine remorse and absolute distress and dismay there.
Just record that sound, and then he turns the slider back off.
Okay, so it goes back to being Tim. And
so Rez, what I was thinking was making it so that the device would automatically re-regulate if the sound came on.
Right. I mean, what if it sounds like it's just a matter of I mean, if we're looking at this from a purely engineering standpoint, her comment about the voices makes it sound like she may just be receiving too many inputs all at once.
And
like
at
that
this
just
point,
means maybe the communication hub is sending too many.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think you guys are starting to catch on, so I'm going to let you guys do a roll for it. Rez, you're going to be doing an insight engineering. Tabris, you're going to be doing an insight medicine. I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to spend, well, I'm not really going to be nice, but I'm going to spend pretty much all of my threat remaining except for 2 to make this another difficulty 4, but no complication range.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and give you a threat.
Okay.
Because I'm Tabris and I have to roll 3 dice.
As is tradition.
Wait, are we? Which one of us is assisting the other?
It sounds like you're assisting Tabris.
Sounds like I'm assisting Tabris for sure.
All right,
computers as a focus.
Yeah, I'll give you computers as a focus.
You need 2.
I see.
You need a 2 here.
Here we go.
Sorry. Oh, so close.
So let me put it this way. With you two working together and sort of putting your brains together telepathically, something doesn't sit right with you about all this. Like, if this was a purely mechanical being, maybe Rez, you would have a point where, their quote unquote brain is just too many inputs at once. But I think, Tabris, what's really hitting you right now is the fact that something's wrong with the organic components rather than the mechanical ones. And unfortunately, I can't give you more than that because you didn't succeed.
Have either of us tried to reach out telepathically to it?
You haven't, to my knowledge.
Rez will try that.
Okay. So, Rez, I actually need you to roll me a fitness and a command at a difficulty of 2.
Well, that's a reasonable. Infiltration?
I'm going to say no.
Survival?
Can I piggyback on his telepathy to try to reinforce his mind?
I'll let it happen, but you're going to have to give me 2 threat for the advantage.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to also do a fitness command, Tabris. I don't think, looking at your focuses, unfortunately, I don't think either of you have a focus in this one.
But at least it's a little bit more possible.
Hey, I got
since
2
I get to roll a die.
successes.
Got the 2 you
How many
needed.
do we need?
Just 2.
Oh, then we're good.
Yeah.
Why am I rolling?
Get us a
because I
momentum.
can get a momentum.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So Rez,
You know,
when you reach
I
out
don't-
telepathically, what happens is you don't brush against one mind. You brush against 4 minds.
Yeah.
And one of those minds is Tim, like you sense Tim very easily. But the other 3 are dormant or otherwise inactive. And I think it's fair for me to give you this at this point. It doesn't take a genius to figure out at this point that the inhibitor isn't so much an inhibitor as it is a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Because those 4 quadrants of the brain, they aren't all the same brain. They are 4 separate brains being lashed together in a hodgepodge fashion.
Oof.
Can we modify the regulator
Mm-hmm.
to basically have a multitude of settings, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. I would say it would be possible, but you're not sure what the effects would be.
Tabris, even if we could, would we want to leave 4 distinct personalities all sharing the same like physical husk? That sounds awful.
Well, I mean, what I'd like to do is do that first, and then maybe we can reach a mind that is a little bit more agreeable. And who knows, maybe there's more bodies over there that we can use. And if we do set it up this way, what I would recommend is that once every cycle, it randomly selects one of the 4 brains to start.
It's right about then as you're debating this that in your minds the trial says, you're probably going to want to come look at this without Tim around.
Uh-oh.
All right, you go look at it, Rez. I'll stay here with Tim.
All right.
So yeah, you return to the bridge, and what you're seeing on the view screen is Troust has more or less put up a picture of the interior of the facility or the starship that you've approached. Now, you don't know how Troust has done this, but Troust is Troust, so she continually surprises you. But what you're seeing of the interior is almost a bloodbath. You're seeing discarded cadavers, organic ones. You're seeing bits of androids that have been torn apart. You're seeing gash marks on the walls. It more or less looks like a caged animal went loose and tore this place to shreds.
Does it look like the crabs did it?
No, what
Sorry,
I would say, what I would say is that the quote unquote Sebastians, there's no way, like they have claws, but they don't have like tiger claws, if you get my meaning.
Right. Towers, maybe we send the robot person back over to the ship. To its ship, maybe. Because I think we may have found the missing crew. They're not really missing. They're definitely still over there. They've just changed states of matter. If you get my drift.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound good.
So maybe we get Tim to go back over to his ship, and then maybe we can discuss whether we try and make any more modifications while he's not standing in our med bay.
Okay. All right, Tim, we're gonna send you home.
Yeah. Thank you for what you did.
Oh, it's perfectly fine, Tim.
So, of course, you escort Tim back to the transporter room. If you want to do a roll, we can. Otherwise, Tim's just going to go away. But yeah, Tabris, you return to the bridge to see the same sort of grisly display that I described to Rez a little bit ago.
Okay, so maybe one of the four brains is a psychotic killer?
I mean, listen. This is what I was sort of alluding to before. Like, if you took my brain out and put it in a mechanical shell, and then made me, roll around in it with four other brains where I only had partial
Oh,
control,
it's three other
I might
brains,
also
if
go
you that way.
crazy.
Well, true.
Like, this seems like a cruel way to lash intelligences together.
No, I agree. Is there any way that we can scan the interior of the ship to see if there's any other, Tims?
You
Trust?
certainly may, yeah. Go ahead and trying to think if this would be a reason science or a reason medicine, because I think they could both apply here. Let me ask this: are you specifically looking for more Tims, or are you looking for just a general feel of what's on the inside?
General feel of what's on the inside.
All right, then that's going to be a reason science. Brian, if you want to get the Troust sensor science, the
Sure.
difficulty on this is a 3.
Rez is not our science guy.
No, I am.
What's your science?
4?
Oh yeah, you need to roll.
I'm the science guy.
All right, so yeah,
you need
reverse
to
that. Yeah, so John, you do the ship, and Brian, you do res.
Sensor science for the ship.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say I'm not rolling a science roll.
Survival is a...
You know what? I'll give it to you. I will give you survival because you're trying to sort of read the interior and what's happened there.
And what
I
was the
got you
difficulty
one.
again?
Difficulty is a 3.
Or 2. Now that I
Well,
got one.
There's the
here we are.
complication. Had to happen.
We got here finally.
All right. So do you want to? I guess you've already spent your determination, so I don't think there is a way for you to re-roll here. So I think what happens?
Challenge a value.
Well, you could challenge a value.
I don't know that I have any.
Yeah, I'm looking at your values. I'm not really seeing a good one to challenge.
No, me neither.
All right, so I think what's going to happen is when you scan, and we're going to go back to this map for this. When you scan, you don't really get a full grasp of the interior of this facility. But what's going to happen is part of that complication is that as you do this scan, the two nearest crabs sort of, I guess you would say, jump or otherwise propel themselves at the Troust. And you now have 2 crabs on the exterior of the Troust, of which
God damn it.
Troust herself goes, okay, so I've got crabs.
All right, well, let's first things first, let's get rid of these crabs. Trouster, you can deploy the biograppler cables from anywhere, right?
Yeah, but I don't think you understand. I can't fling them away when they're on me like this.
No, but if we made a quick turn, and then used their momentum to aid the biograppler as it fired out from underneath them, that might be able to shake them one at a time.
Well, whatever you're doing, do it before they clip off my wing. Nope, they've clipped one off. Great.
All right, Tabris, let's do it.
All right. Tabris is going to basically fire an engine forward and fire another engine in reverse.
Okay.
He's going to spin the Troust.
Yeah, I got you. I know where you're going with this. So go ahead and do me a daring and a con. And I have, 2 threat remaining? Yeah, this seems like a good point to spend it. I'll make it a difficulty of 3. So daring a con, difficulty of 3. The Troust will assist you with an engines con.
All right.
Okay. Hand-to-hand combat.
No, you can't do hand-to-hand combat with a ship. No. But good try. I appreciate the effort all the same.
Helm operations.
I will give you helm operations.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So,
and I am going to spend the momentum.
Okay.
Trust got you a 1.
Got one from the ship.
That's nice. Oh yeah.
Very nice. 4 successes, which means you get the momentum right back. So what I would say is actually with your number of successes there, you are able
Oh, we
to.
get 2 more momentum.
Very nice. And
Nice.
what I would say is that you have an option here. As you spin the ship, you are able, and I have to move you so I can grab the crabs. You are able to sort of dislodge one of the crabs, but if you give me another momentum, you can dislodge both of them at the same time.
Oh, look at that.
There
Momentum.
it is.
All right. So the trouse spins, and the crabs more or less fling off into space, like not tremendously far away, but they're definitely sort of flailing about, like unable to propel themselves anywhere. They're very much helpless at this point.
All right. Let's leave the Sebastians where they are for
Uh huh.
now.
Yep,
And then
for
we'll
sure.
go back and get them because they seem to be okay. They're not moving very quickly.
I mean, they clipped off a wing. Can we pick that back up so Strauss can reattach it?
I'll try to grapple the wing that's flying away.
Okay. Trying to see here. Let's see. Why don't you do an actual tractor beam task here? Because that's essentially what you're doing. Just have to find where it is. There it is. Okay. You're rolling a control and a security, and the Troust will assist you with a structure security. The difficulty on this will be a 2.
Structure security check.
Shipboard tactical systems.
It is a tactical system technically, so yes.
Hey!
All right, so 3 successes, which gets you a momentum back. And yeah, so do you just want to grapple onto the crabs, or do you just want to put them back where they were? Like, tell me, what are you doing once you've got a hold of them?
We were trying to get the wing back.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. Sorry, I heard crabs and was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you can get the wing back very easily, and it very elegantly reforms and bioregenerates with the rest of the Troust.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I
we'll
mean,
get
we
the
want to take.
crabs.
We
We'll
always
get the
take.
Sebastians later.
We always take real good care of the Troust. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly
We
not.
never put her in any risk.
No,
No.
we sure never do that. No.
No, not an ominous half a year from now when you blow up half the Troust just because you could.
Oh boy.
But no, yeah, you are able to reclaim the Troust full capacity, and yeah, what do you guys do from here?
I hate to say this, Rez, but I think we got to go over there.
Oh, I hate that you said that too, but I agree. I mean, it's not like we could catch any space diseases, but I mean, we could have to fight a robot thing, and I mean, listen, I don't want to overstate this, but I'm not very good at the fighting.
Oh no, I know.
Okay,
But we've got this.
right, the slider.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. We do have that. That's for sure a thing that we for sure have.
And Troust speaks up and says, "I mean, what would you be going over to do? Take scans, get into the computer?"
Potentially look for more Tim bodies.
See, I was thinking we would access their logs to find out how they got into this state.
Yeah,
The
I
ship's
mean, there's
gotta
a
have,
whole
like, an
bunch
auto
of
log,
different
right?
things. Can you just access their logs from here, Troust?
Not off the top of my head, but if you were to employ my encryption and decryption algorithms, you might be able to break through.
That sounds good.
That sounds better than going over there.
All right. Is computer hacking security or engineering?
I would say it's probably a little bit of both. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to treat this as sort of like a unique style of task where if you guys are familiar at all with the signals jamming task, it's a variable difficulty. So let me lay everything out and I'll explain what I mean. So what you would be doing, Rez, you would be doing a daring engineering. Tabris, you'd be doing a daring security. And you would have no assist from the ship. But the difficulty is something that you all determine. So, for example, if you decide to do it at a difficulty of 1 and you succeed, then I'm going to give you information that would be at a difficulty of 1. If you do it at a difficulty of 2, I do it at that level, difficulty 3, etc., etc., etc. So it's sort of like a risk reward where the more successes you try to shoot for, the more information I can give you. The downside is that if you shoot for really high difficulty and you do not succeed, I don't give you any information. So you have to determine.
Nothing.
You have to
And is
determine
this
what's the risk.
is this a roll slash assist, or is it two separate rolls?
This is an assist, and I will give you computer expertise res, so you are getting that additional die to start with.
And I would get security, so
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's up. So with an assist, he doesn't get that extra die, right?
No, he does, because he's still doing the main role.
Oh,
Or at least I'm
no, I
assuming
meant
he's
if
still
he
doing
was
the main
to
role.
assist.
No, if he does the assist, then he does not get the extra die.
All right, I think you should take the main lead.
All right.
I think we should shoot for a difficulty 3.
I was going to say 4.
All right, 4.
Because if we
But
spend these other
our
2 dice,
momentum.
yeah, as I say, if we spend the other 2 momentum, I can get 4 dice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean,
I think that's pretty good.
With computers as a focus, I should be
Mhm.
able to. I mean, I don't see any way that we would miss, right?
Oh, I
with
do.
you- especially with you assisting. This is gonna go. This is gonna go. This whole night has gone super well. But this is just gonna be. Look at that.
Wow.
I already
Holy
did it.
cow!
Wow, nice.
Holy cow!
Nice.
It's called pushing your hubris.
I love it. Well, Tavris, let's see if you get a complication.
Wow.
We have to see if you get a complication. Okay, no complication.
And
So,
you just got 3 back.
2 actually, because you did
2
difficulty
back.
4.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rez.
All right, that was a good call on the 4 diff.
Thank you.
So, Rez, you immediately gain almost full access to the ship. And I'm going to give you, mostly because, I don't want to just info dump at you, but we're going to split it up. So you see that there are personal logs. You see that there are mission statements. And you see that there are cargo statements. Which would you like me to go over first?
Well, since the cargo is probably the most important thing at the moment, or the least important thing at the moment, we can skip that. I'm going to go personal logs first, and then we'll see. Probably go personal mission statements. Cargo is the.
Okay.
That was a very non-groundskeeper role, by the way, Riz.
Yeah, that was entirely off brand, but I love it.
I was gonna say, like, this whole night has gone very well for us, so I figured, like, I'd just push that, see, because eventually it's gonna fall apart, but it didn't have to now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rez, you're looking through the logs of the personnel that were on this ship, and they start off fairly benign. And I'm doing this in more of a narrative fashion than doing all the logs specifically, because we'd be here forever. But if you will sort of imagine, it starts off fairly innocuous. They are a species known as the Otoids, and I'm going to put that in chat because there's no way in hell you'll be able to spell it. So the Otoids are a bunch of terraformers. They go around and more or less terraform Class D planetoids into livable Class Ls or actual Class Ms. And the way they do that is those crab-like creatures are actually living nanomachine colonies that are able to do the terraforming process. So they basically go to a planetoid or a planet, they drop a crab on it, and they come back in like 20, 40 years, and it's already terraformed. So they do this because they are sort of gardeners, or at least that's the feel you're getting. Like, they don't do this to expand an empire. They do this to just be a sort of like a, to borrow your own phrase, they almost like a groundskeeper, where they literally are just trying to make the universe, make the galaxy a better place. And everything's hunky-dory for a while. Like, you see maybe a period of about a year, maybe 2 years, where everything's fine. But then, about 2 weeks ago, there's an entry that concerns you. And it is probably what you're guessing, that one of the crew started becoming psychotic, started attacking the others. And what happened is they were restrained. They were put in some form of a holding cell. However, there was an outside aggressor that they don't really know what this outside aggressor does. And there's almost like a period of corruption, or a period where the logs aren't coherent. But the last log that you see comes from someone you have already met. You remember Vil, right?
Mhm.
You do see an entry by Vil, and she says specifically, they're all dead, or their brains have all been put into suspended animation. I can't live with the fact that this would happen. I can't go on like this. I don't want to be alone. I see no other option but to graft the 4 remaining together, including myself. I mean, one's better than none, right? I don't know, but this is my final log entry. And it ends there.
Oh boy. Well, Tabris, this is not a fun story. Also, I don't know that those Sebastians need to go back into those cages. We could probably just. Are there any planets in the system?
There's actually not a system right now. You are literally just
Or
sort of
just
in between the
in
void.
space?
Mm-hmm.
It, it looks like the Sebastians are terraforming creatures. They're specifically meant to leave to terraform places. Um, it looks like this this Tim that or Vildin as we or whoever the third person is looks like it's essentially what remains of the crew after an outside aggressor attacked them. Or not an outside aggressor, sorry, but an internal aggressor. Somebody went crazy, leaving only one person remaining. But then they got real lonely and lashed the remaining brains to themselves. It is sad, but I don't think we can help them. What do you think, Tabris?
Well, I mean, failing them having any equipment that we could, I think we should see if we can make frames for the other ones.
Sure. I mean, but we don't know which one's the psychotic one, or if the psychotic one's still attached. We'd have to be very careful.
I think we could tell before we activate them. Just connect with the brain.
Then Troust actually speaks up. My guess is the red one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I would say that's probably. I mean, however, if we do this, then we've just created some new life forms. Unless you're planning on using
That
their
sounds
tech.
great.
Yeah, but then we won't know what we've unleashed under the non-fluidic universe.
Well, I mean, as long as we can figure out which one is the red one, which should be fine. We take the slider, we create the 1 to 4, we cycle through the 4, see which one turns it red. We won't give that brain a new body, but we'll give the other 3 a new body. And these people were great. They were going around and terraforming planets.
I mean, that does sound pretty good.
I think these people would be a great addition. We just need to figure out which one to get rid of.
Is there a way that we can single out each one and ask them if they'd like us to do this?
I think the changes we can make to the device to make it so that each quadrant can be dominant, I think we could address each one.
What I would say, though, real quick, is that in order to enact this sort of change to the slider, you would have to get Tim or Vildin or whoever they're going by at the current moment. You have to get them back on your medbay table.
Yeah, I think Tim is pretty agreeable.
I mean, also, we probably have a lock. They're the only thing moving around over there.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well,
the advantages of not having that pesky prime directive.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. So it sounds like Tim wants to get these things back into their holding cells. So let's help him with that. And then once we've done that, maybe we bring him back over
and have a party with us.
Sure. I mean, let's not call it a party. Let's not lie to him. But we'll tell him that we've come up with what we think is a good idea to help set him on the path for future success. And then we'll address each one.
Did you have other logs to look through?
I mean, there's just a cargo log and a mission, essentially a mission log.
Take a look at their mission log, but See if we're correct in the fact that those center sections are all cubicles.
Good point. Good point. All right. So yeah, I'll review the mission logs or mission statements.
Okay. So you do confirm that they are indeed quote unquote groundskeepers. You do confirm that the ship's purpose is to go around seeding planets to make them, livable. And you do confirm that the holding cells, quote unquote, are indeed that. They're meant to contain the terraforming creatures best they can. However, as you're doing all of this, what you're noticing is that there is a reference in the cargo logs to a chemical you have never heard of before. And I'm going to put it in chat and then attempt to say it because, you know me, I pick names I can't say. It is known as aldesnen or aldesnessen. There you go. And you don't know what it is, but you do get the chemical composition, which if you tell Tabris, they'd be able to, roll me something and see if they figure out what it is.
Hey, Tabris, can you look at this? I don't think I've ever seen this chemical before.
Okay.
Whoop.
And yeah, Tabris, go ahead and roll me a Reason Medicine, difficulty of 2.
Hey, look, I'm going to be giving you.
As is tradition.
That's his tradition.
I don't think I have any sort of focus on this one.
Nah, I'm not seeing one that would really help you here. Hey, 3 successes. You get the momentum right back.
Nice.
So, Tabris, this is an educated guess. You're not 100% confirmed true. But what I would say is this drug, if taken in extreme quantities, or if someone were to accidentally dose themselves with too much of it, they would turn psychotic.
Oh, yeah. We need to get all that off the ship.
And what are we going to do with it?
Well, we'll keep it here until we can just eject it into a sun or blow it up or whatever.
Oh,
so we can use it for target practice later. All right, cool.
But what happens is you say this, Troust actually goes, wait a second. They said somebody went psychotic, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if they were exposed to this drug thing?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
That was the assumption, yeah.
Actually, if we can bring some of it on, I could potentially design a counter agent. Maybe we can fix red.
I mean, presumably the chemical either made. Listen, I don't know how brains work. I'm just going to lay that out there to start with. But presumably it either made permanent changes to the biochemistry, or it would have worn off by now, right?
Right, but just like it made biochemistry changes to the brain, I may be able to make something that makes change that counteracts the change.
Okay. Now, leaving that aside for just a second, are we saying that if we fix this brain that killed everybody on their ship, that then we just give them a body and let them go? Because I mean, listen, I know that they were just otoids and whatever, but they were a bunch of other people that got killed, and I don't know. I mean, hey,
no, I think we should. I think we should leave it to the other 3 to decide the fate of the one.
Oh, yeah, okay. That seems. You know what? That's a remarkably.
It's their society.
You know what? I shouldn't have even questioned. That's a remarkably prescient thought that you had, Tabris, and I should have just asked you outright in the first place.
Oh, well, gee, thanks.
All right. Well, let's hail them and let Tim know that we're going to help him with his crab problem, and that afterwards we also have some other good news.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So you get Tim back on the horn, and he's very happy to hear that you're ready to help with the crabs or the Sebastians, and he says, just get them close to the entrance to each, and I can take it from there.
Awesome. Trust, right. This should be pretty easy with the biograpplers. Yeah, we'll just grab onto each one, fly it over.
Assuming that that's not a problem. And what I would say is that you remember those 2 crabs that you sort of flung out into, empty space? What you're seeing is that in their claws, The claws open up, and almost like a pylon or some sort of emitter. There's these little like disruptor type things that are emitting from the crabs, and the trout says, "Well, either they've started firing disruptors at us, or they're doing something that was a problem."
How did the Sebastians get weapons, Tabris? Have you been
No,
storing weapons on the outside of
no,
the hull again?
no. They're nano machines. They create what they need.
But why would disruptors be a thing?
Shields up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to red alert as shields go up, and not a moment too soon as disruptors hit your shields. And I'm gonna roll. I don't think it's gonna do really any damage, but I'll roll it just for giggles. Okay, actually, what is your resistance? I forget. What is your
I have my
resistance?
red alert setting for my lights.
Let's
So here we go. Let's see
see.
if I can get it to work. There it goes.
Okay, so you have a resistance 6, which means that that roll of 6, because it's vicious 1, because they're disruptors, the disruptor blasts hit the shield, but you don't take any damage. The shields hold.
All right, we're gonna slowly start towing the two aggressive ones to their rooms.
Let's make it not even slowly. Let's do it as quickly as possible.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys an option that I love giving my players. You can either do a high risk, high reward single task, or you can do an extended task.
I mean, I think
How high risk is our high risk option?
What I would say is that your high risk, you would have up to 2 attempts at it. It would be a difficulty of 4, but every time you fail at it, the crabs are going to shoot at you.
All right, we're gonna try the high risk, high reward.
yeah.
Okay. So again, this is going to be treated like a tractor beam style task where you're going to be doing a control and a security. The ship will assist you with a structure security. Again, the difficulty is a 4.
You're also getting one threat because I don't have enough to get myself 2 dice otherwise.
Okay.
And the ship says 1 success.
Okay, you need 3 more.
And then Tabaris goes for dun 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 2.
2.
3 successes total.
Yeah, so not the 4 you needed. Do you want to challenge a value here?
Yeah, sure. We get a momentum back.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and. Oof. Do I have anything to challenge?
Let's take a look.
Yeah, we're gonna challenge looking for adventure.
Okay. Tell me a little bit how you would challenge that, because I'm curious.
Because looking for adventure was just kind of like going without focus, just kind of blasting into space without any real design.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular case, Tabris actually has a pretty defined plan
Mm-hmm.
that he's going with. He's not just let the chips fall where they may right now.
Okay.
He's being very methodical about this. He really wants to get things straight.
All right. Yeah, I think that's.
And his new value is going to be something on the lines of planning. Measure twice, cut once type
Yeah.
value.
I think that's good character growth. So yeah, you can re-roll those 2 zeros, or really as many dice as you want.
We're going to just do the 2 zeros. Oh, come on. Just 1. Come on. 1. Oh!
All right. So, what's going to happen is, unfortunately, you try to use the biograppler cables to get a hold of the Sebastians, and every time you try, either the biograppler cables are literally like shot away, like you deflect like an incoming boomerang, like you'd shoot the boomerang and the boomerang would deflect off, that kind of a thing, or the crabs otherwise dodge out of the way, which means that the crabs are now going to get 2 shots at you. Again, probably are not going to do a whole lot of damage because they're only rolling 3 dice here, and I'd have to get effects on all of them. But yeah, I'm going to say At this point, yeah, so your shields just get pinged again.
All right, we'll try again.
Okay.
This time giving you 2 threat.
Okay.
And we'll do the same rolling. Control security. 4 dice. Come on, Troust, give me 1 success. Oh,
2 successes from the ship. Very nice.
Ship's got you covered.
There you go. There's your 4 that you need. Very nice. So, even with the Sebastian...
Oh, you get a threat.
Hey, nice. Even with the Sebastians flailing about and shooting at you, you're able to get them back to their enclosures. And what happens is once you drag the creatures near one of the holding cells, actual tractor beam emitters lance out and grab them. And much like you would see on a Starfleet vessel where shuttles would come in, that's sort of what happens here is the tractor beams lead them in and then a force field erects so that they don't escape. So because you did high risk, high reward, you are able to get all 7 back where they should be. And after all of them are secured, you get a hail from Tim.
All right, bring it up.
And Tim says, thank you. I don't remember what I do next, but this is good. I know that this is a good thing.
Tim, we may actually be able to help you with that last part. If you want to come back over to our ship, we might be able to help you out with that.
Oh, okay. I'll just transport me over, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a few moments. Rez, in the cargo, was there anything that we could use for potential bodies?
Oh, let's review it. I pull back up that cargo manifest.
Mm-hmm. And I think based on not only your Undine knowledge, but just your general feel of what's going on, if you wanted to, you could probably make about 6 new bodies if you really wanted to.
Yeah, we just need 3.
I mean, yeah, sure. So I'll start making bodies. You start talking to the Tims, or I mean, not all Tims, obviously, but
I get what you mean. All right, so I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit here to sort of do a montage where Rez, you're creating bodies. Tabris, you're going through each of the quote-unquote brains to get a feel for them. And I don't think a roll is going to be required here because, again, the Undine are masters of biology, even biomechanical biology. And I think where this all leads is you do get the 3. You get Tim, quote-unquote. You get Vil. And you also get the 3rd entity, whose name is... Let me find it in my notes. You also get an individual known as Crud. Krud. And Crud is going to be a yellow. And tell you what, I can actually tint these. I forgot I could tint these. So he's yellow, Vil is purple, and Tim is blue. All right. So at this point, Rez, you have already made, another body for the quote-unquote red one. But Tabris, you have just finished transferring Crud to their new body. Tim and Vil are sort of a little bit in a daze, but they're not whining or otherwise in distress.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Tabris. This is Rez.
Hey.
Vil, we were able to access some information. I believe you were the person who first created this procedure. We've expanded on it and given everyone their own body. I hope you're all feeling okay.
Yeah, we're and this is Vil talking. Yeah, we're fine. About as fine as we can be. There was another mind. Helen. What did you do with Helen?
Now, we've determined that Helen is responsible for the deaths on your station.
At least we suspect that's the case.
But it was an effect of a chemical that we found in your cargo manifest. And, well, I think we should leave it up to you all, the fate of Helen.
And, Tim sort of looks at the others and says, I don't remember anything bad about Helen. He was always a good kid, did his job well, never really gave us a reason to yell at him. And then Crud speaks up, and Crud is a more masculine, more of a gruff voice, and he says, he killed all of us, or he tried to kill all of us. Even with a chemical affecting him, I'm not so sure we should trust him again. But then Vil speaks up and says, I think we should give him another chance. At this point, it's better than the life we were living just a few hours ago.
Well, I have a suggestion if you'd like to hear it.
And they all sort of nod at you.
How about we put Helen in a less, let's just say, a child version of what we've created for you, a more controllable version.
And Crud actually speaks up in that and says, that would be no better than killing him. Otoids like ourselves, we don't do, I guess, what you would call slavery.
Oh, no, and not slavery. I'm just talking, give them a life, give them the ability to contribute, but not make them a little less powerful and a little less threatening to you.
Still does not sit well with me. And
Okay.
Vil sort of, echoes that sentiment and says, yeah, I mean, it would bring him back, quote unquote, but I don't think it's fair to force that sort of thing on him. And Tim doesn't really say anything. He just sort of glances wistfully out into the distance, or best you could tell anyway.
The other thing that we could potentially do is take Helen with us, and we can put him somewhere.
I mean, we could drop him on a planet with one of those Sebastians.
With one of the Sebastians.
And the three sort of look at each other, and they sort of nod at each other, and then Vil speaks up and says, Let's do that. That will at least give them a chance at life. That will give them a chance to rebuild and reflect on what they've done, and maybe one day we can come back and pick them up.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right.
I'd also recommend allowing us to rid your station of the chemical that caused the issue.
I don't have a problem with that, says Crud.
Right on.
All right. Well, it was great meeting you. Again, this is Rez, and I'm Tabaris, and our ship, her wonderful name is Troust. We're with the Groundskeepers, and he gives him the whole PR speech.
The whole PR speech, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, at this point, you do as you said. You tidy up their station/ship. You grab one of the crabs, and you put Helen in a body, and you deposit them on a nearby Class D planetoid.
Before we leave.
Yes, before you leave.
One
Go
thing
ahead.
that Tabaris wants to try to do is potentially negate the effects that the chemical had on Helen's brain before we drop him on the planet.
Also, I would like to have Troust, I want them to give me access to their station, record the station logs. So essentially I can confirm that Helen was the actual one who went crazy, because I know we came to that conclusion, but it was on some pretty spurious evidence.
That's true.
So let's do that in order. Because I wasn't sure if it would be better to wrap that up in a narrative fashion, but you guys bring up good points. Yeah, so Rez, go ahead and roll me and because it is you accessing the logs, not Tabaris, I need you to do an insight security, difficulty of 1.
Oh, goodness.
And then
Does the
Tabaris...
ship help?
The ship does not help him on this, unfortunately. But Tabaris, to do
infiltration or computers?
I'll give you computers or infiltration. Tabaris, you're going to be rolling a daring and a medicine for your part. And the difficulty on you would be a 2.
All right, and of course you're getting a threat.
The momentum you just earned, yeah.
Stop! Okay, there we go. I think no, it's still not. Let's try that again. You said
Daring
what am I
medicine.
rolling?
Daring medicine.
Daring medicine.
Mhm.
Oh
All right. Hey, you
yeah.
get 3 successes. So, in order, Rez,
Oh,
you
3
confirm the fact that yes, the chemical was spilled, Helen was exposed,
Okay.
and that's confirmed there. Tabris, you are able to develop a counter agent. Now, it's going to take a little bit to work. So, the whole putting him on a planet, coming back later, good idea, but it's going to take a little bit of time to work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, with those 2 things in mind, you do sort of send Vil, Crud, Tim, you send them on their way. You take Helen and a crab, or Sebastian, you put them on a nearby Class D world, and then you sort of go on your way. And sort of the last scene of today is just you two sitting on the bridge of the Troust. And the Troust herself just sort of looks at you all and says, that was interesting. I wonder if we'll see anything more of them.
I hope so. I mean, it's nice of them to just sort of wander around improving planets for other people to use.
Yeah, rather selfless of them. I wish there were more like that out there.
Agreed. You know, Tabris, I think we're really coming together as a team. This mission went really well.
I think it did. I think our next mission's going to go even better.
Yeah, I bet you we're going to do a fantastic job the next time anything comes up.
Uh-huh.
And
And with that, I would picture the end scene being Tabris and the Troust, at least, maybe not Rez, singing Tomorrow, Tomorrow from Annie as they're going off into space.
I love it. And that is where we'll end. So yeah, that is session 5 of Groundskeepers. What'd you guys think? It sounds like you guys had fun.
I
Very
thought
good,
it was great. I thought it was great.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, I am doing something new with all of my streams, and that is running credits. So Twitch, stick around for a little bit longer, but YouTube, I'm just going to roll credits, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. All right, so obviously, and this is something the stream can hear. Obviously, thank you all so much for the follows. It means a lot. And what I'm going to do is after the credits roll, I'm actually going to send you all over to go see Choco Jacks, and just go ahead and no, that is let me say that before you transfer over. No, the sheet I'm using is the non-official STA sheet. The official STA sheet is the dark one. The one I'm using is the white one. So if you go into Roll20 and you pick character sheets, you should have a choice between 2 Star Trek Adventure sheets. Mine is the white one. But yeah, I'm going to send you guys over to Choco Jacks now. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you later.